Hey, hello everyone, Ranjit this side. So in this video, we will be discussing about how to create a view and how does creating a view really helps us in our day-to-day job, right? So see, in your being a business analyst or let's say a data scientist, one of the major activity that you will be doing is to create complex queries with the help of joins and filters from one or more tables, right? And if you do this on the daily basis, then I would recommend you should be creating a view instead of running the same query each time or every time. So a view is basically it's an instance of a database that looks somewhere similar to what a table looks like, but it's not actually a table. It's basically a collection of data from multiple tables, right? It's an SQL query. So you can see the list of all the views. So this is a database that we have, and then if you just like refresh it so that you don't miss anything. So you have data diagrams, you have tables, and then you have views. So if you just drop down over here, you will see the, or not the drop down, but if you click expand over here, you will see the list of all the views. So these are the system views which are already there, but we are not working on this right now. But since views are there, so what we'll be doing, let's create a query first, and then from there we will take it, right? So let's say use financial data as a database. Let me just remove this. And then let's say select sector, select star from, let me take the database name, or sorry, the table name. So what we are doing, we are basically trying to create a query which will give us the average based on the sector, right? So let's select star from this one, and then I'm saying I need the sector. Sector, I need the stock price, or let's say the price, right? Let's say where price is greater than 1,000, right? And then I need it on the group level. So let's say group by sector, and then the price is, I'm saying AVG. I will take it as stock price average, right? So this is the query that we have now. See, the intention behind creating the query is to basically create a view. So before creating a view, you have to finalize the SQL statement, or let's say the SQL query, and then only you can create the view out of that query. But before that, maybe I can show you something else as well. So here what you have is the execution plan. I don't know why is it not coming, but yeah. So Control L, was it like not Control M? Anyway, so when you press on Control L, so you will get the execution plan, right, of this particular query. So with the help of execution plan, what we do basically is to improve the query processing, right? So sometimes when the query is really large, or let's say big, then you should be using a query execution plan to make sure that you have a better query, right? So basically what it says, you have the select, and then it's computing, then it's making the aggregation, then sorting from this table, right? So this is what a normal query looks like. Now we will create a view out of this query, right? So let's say I'm saying create view. Okay, sector average is the view name. So see, normally what I do when I'm creating a view, I'll say view underscore view 01 underscore sector average, just to make sure that the queries which I create is in a proper sorted on manner. The reason being, when you create queries, basically these are like the steps, right? So it's always good to create a differentiate between view, and then sometimes when I create a store procedure. So I think we will discuss about store procedure. So what I do like sp01 underscore, then like abc, any of the store procedure name. So what it does, or how it helps, is basically when the views are listed over here, right? So it will be listed based on a sorting order. So if you say view 01, then this you will understand that this was the query that you created first, and then later on the further queries that you build maybe based on this query or some other queries, or let's say the table. So this, it will be sorted. Right. So yeah. Create view as, let's say, let's give it a name, or let's yeah, the view name is already there. Let's take it the query from here, right? So this is what our query does, or let's say the view looks like, and then let's say go. I think something is missing over here, which is the create view must be the only statement in the batch. You see, right? Uh, just, I mean, it's up to you about what you want to do with this alignment. So let's run this. So command completed successfully. Now, if you refresh this view over here, you will see dbo.view01 sector average, right? So this is how you create a view. Now, again, to see the data in this view, you can say select star from, and then if you just drag and drop over here and then run this query, you will see, want to see this now. So again, you see over here, so you will have the list of data, or let's say you will see the data set. Like I said, why do we create the view? It's just to make sure that you are not running or writing this query each and every time when you need to see the data. So this really helps you out to reduce the, or let's say increase the productivity. Now again, see, creating an view is really a good option, but again, sometimes when the view is like really big, it takes a lot of time. So for that, what you could also do is to create an index of that view, right? So creating index or indexing that particular view will really help you out, let's say, to increase the execution, or let's say to increase the estimated execution time, right? So we will work on that as well. So let's create an index for this view. So what I'm saying, create unique clustered index, which is like IDX, which is normally the, the way of creating an index, and then let's say sector average, right, on this view, and then I'm passing this sector. Let me just remove these brackets. Okay, so one thing which I missed over here is to schema bound this. So I think it is already schema bounded, no? Okay, so before this step, I think there is one more thing which we can do. Let's create this index later on. So what I'm saying is select in star from, let's say, company by sector, and then out of this I will just select ticker, uh, and then I will also take description, then I will take let's say the sector, and then the price, right? So this is what we are taking from this table. Let me just align this. Now I'm saying where condition, where we have a description, like whatever starts from, let's say, or whichever the data is there which includes s in their name, right? So let me just run this and see. So this is the data that we have now. Right now we have 3,365 records, and then normally this is less data, but if you have millions of records, then this will take a lot of time. Now for that, let's create a view first. So let's create view named start view underscore 02 view 02 underscore starting s, then with schema binding, right, as this query, and then wise. Okay, so let me just comment this. Let me just comment this. Because of this, it's giving the error, right? And then I will say go, right? So let's create this view. So now this create view is done, and then now I'm saying let's create an index, AIU. So let's take this view, and then we are saying I'm doing this with the help of ticker. So basically why I'm taking ticker, because ticker is a unique column that we have, right? And then let's say go. So now we have index this as well. So where do we see the index? Refresh, and then in this we will see the indexes as well. So we have IDX, sector average, and then we have created index for this. Now the reason behind creating this index is basically to improve the processing time of this particular query, right? And then this is like a really important when you have large queries, or let's say the views that you create. Now to drop this view, first you, now if you suppose if you don't want to use this view, or you don't need this view, first, since you have already created an index for this view, first you need to drop this index first. So drop index, and this is the index name. So this was the view dot the index, right? And then let's say go. So you will drop the index. Now if you refresh over here, you will not see any indexes, right? And then you can drop the view, drop view, and then the view name, right? So now if you refresh here again, you will not see that view that we created earlier. Now just to reiterate what we did in this query, see, to create, first of all we created a simple query to take the data, or create a query or a statement which will take the data from the table with the help of like keyword, and then we used a wild character percentage to take only those data which contains the description including s, right? And then out of that we created a view. Now while creating the view, we also schema binded it with the DBO, so that while because when we create an index for that, it asks for the schema, right? So for that only we did the schema binding. So we created the view with the help of schema binding, and then we created an index for this view. The reason for creating the index is majorly because to increase, or let's say to enhance the performance of the view. So that's and then this is the view name on which we are creating the index, and this is the index name that we created. Why we created IDX. That's I would say it's more of a way of working, or let's say that's how you create indexes. It's not like a rule or something, but just to differentiate between index, views, and everything. Like the same we created view 02, the same way I created this IDX as well. And then we use ticker because it is unique, right? Now once we created this index, we, if you want to drop this index, or let's say this view, first you have to drop the index, and then from this index you can drop the view as well. So this is how you create a view. And like I said, you can, even though here we used only one table, but you can combine multiple tables, like we did in the early let's say queries, right? We can use multiple queries to create a view, right? And then yeah, you can create multiple or you can combine multiple tables with the help of join, union, inner join, or let's say intersect, and then create the view. Okay, great. I think this is pretty much it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.